What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how I did the knotless braids on my sister for the first time. So I think I was pretty successful, so here we go. So first thing you'll need is something to separate the hair. And since we didn't have the actual hair separator, we used my sister's gate, which is, it was actually pretty resourceful. It actually worked out pretty well. So you just want something to separate the hair to make it easier to grab. So I started with just separating the parts. So it made it a lot easier to go through the hair when I had it sectioned in fours. So this is me just doing the part out, sectioning it off in fours. And then I just kind of made my way through. So one of the things my sister did kind of want the neater parts. So instead of doing like just like a free part or doing the circle part, I did do square parts. So it worked out a little better when I separated the hair into four parts to kind of work my way through that way. So one of the things that my sister did want was medium-sized braids. So what I found best was parting the parts, making the parts pretty medium-sized, a little on the bigger side, and then using a little bit of hair. So making the braids a little smaller, but the parts a little larger. I felt like that kind of worked out better. It allowed the braids to still look pretty neat, but also not too small. And the more of her hair I put in it, I was able to get her parting to look medium, but the braids themselves, just to make them look a little neater and just to make them last a little longer, I made them a little bit more on the smaller side. So as you see me parting out, you'll see that the parting is a little medium size, but the braids will be a little smaller. So here's the video of me actually doing one of the braids. So this is about halfway through her head. And basically what you'll do is you'll start with a regular 3-strand twist with just your real hair. So just the real hair, a 3-strand twist or a 3-strand braid. And after you go maybe 2 to 3, sorry, my sister almost knocked down my tripod, but after you go down maybe 2 to 3 times, you'll start adding your strands of the weave, the braiding hair. So I added 3 total strands of braiding hair. So basically I went over and I used my right hand. I grabbed a piece of the braiding hair, added it in, and then you'll see me here about to braid down again. And then I'll add, with my right hand again, I'll add another piece in there, and then I'll braid down again. And so I did this, like I said, I only used 3 strands of hair, and that's pretty much just to get the right amount of like consistency and to make sure each one of the strands of your real hair actually has a piece of the braiding hair with it. So here you'll see me, and I'm just going to braid down. I do have another clip later on in the video where it's a little slowed down and you can actually see my hand movements a little better. And the part with this part, when you're actually just braiding it down, she did want them pretty long, but to make them look as neat as possible and as consistent as possible, it's necessary to keep your hands really close together, make the braids as tight as you possibly can, and try not to turn your hand a little too much. So the more you kind of like turn your hand, or the looser your hand movement gets, the more you'll get like little bumps within the braid or throughout the braid. She did want hers to look pretty natural looking, so we weren't really worried about them looking too consistent and too neat. But yeah. So here's a video of me just a little more slowed down. So as you can see, I'm starting with a 3-strand braid with just her real hair. So here I am about to, and I use my right hand because I'm right-handed. So I grab a piece of the braiding hair and I'll grab it with my right hand. So once I grabbed it with my right hand, I kind of like take one strand and I throw it over my arm. And then the piece that's out that I'm about to grab with my left hand, I grab the piece of the braiding hair. And then I add in the piece that I flipped over my right hand. And so you'll see me do it again. So I'm grabbing it with my right hand, taking the left hand, taking the piece of the real hair and the braiding hair together, and then I add in the other piece with my right hand. So I grab it with my right hand, take the left hand, add the braiding hair and my real hair, and then I bring the piece that I put over the right hand and I put it back down with the braid. I hope that makes sense. It's a little hard to explain it. I hope you guys are visual learners because it's really hard for me to verbally explain what it is that I'm doing. So with this part again, basically you just want to make sure that you're keeping your hands as tight as possible, as close together as possible. Very tight and I don't want to say slow, but tight and kind of like slow movements, just so you're not moving the braid around too much and the braid isn't like turning as you braid, because if the braid turns at any point as you braid it, you'll find like little lumps. You'll see a little bit more lumps. But as you can see with these, she did want them really natural looking, so they're not too small. They do look very natural. It looks like somebody just braided her natural hair. So one more time for the visual. So I'm going to start again with her natural hair, and you do want to use some sort of edge control or edge tamer for this part just to make them look neater. And in this one, I'm actually going to be grabbing the hair with my left hand instead of my right. But I'm going to grab the hair with my left hand, put a piece over my left hand, put the piece that's in my right hand, mix her real hair with the braiding hair, and then I'll do the same thing again. So I put it in my left hand, put one side over, grab the other side with my right hand, and then I add them both in. Then I'm going to do it again. So grab it with my left hand, put one side over, and just this part here. So as you can see, I had to start over. So at some point, there's a couple times where that kind of happened. So basically, like, I grabbed it and maybe like some of the hair got caught in, and you just kind of got to start over just so you can make it as neat as possible. So yeah, so I think that I was actually pretty surprised about how easy the process was. It made, like I said, it's a lot harder to explain, and I am no braider. I am no hairstylist. I have told you guys so many times. And I am so serious. I do not do hair. I am not a braider. I know how to braid, but I'm definitely not a braider. I've actually never even done real box braids or regular box braids, so knotless was kind of a challenge, but at the end of the day, they were not too difficult at all. Again, it's just a matter of you kind of like just getting the hand movements down. And I think after you do a few, that part becomes like really easy. It's not too difficult to do at all. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. I am actually going to show you guys another clip because she did want them a little longer than the hair that we bought. So I'm going to show you another clip of me actually not just adding the hair or doing the feed in, but here I am actually doing basically an extended braid. So the same way I fed the hair in the beginning, I had to feed more hair in at the end. Just because it wasn't like the hair just wasn't long enough. And that's one of the keys. So if you can buy hair that is long, if you do want them long, try to find hair that is long enough. In this case, the hair wasn't long enough, so we had to add in extra hair toward the end. Again, I hope this was useful. I hope you guys got the gist. I'm sorry that I couldn't like verbally explain it the way I would like to, but I hope you guys can really kind of like see my hand movements and get it from there. Try it out. Let me know how it works. And for my first time, I think it turned out pretty well. It's definitely, can kind of tell it was my first time. But I think that with more time and with more practice, they're super easy to do. They're definitely not difficult at all. And because we like the natural look, or we wanted them to look really natural, I think they turned out um, perfectly well, honestly. They look pretty natural. It looks like her hair. It looks like she just got some braids in, and she actually still has them in now, maybe 2 to 3 weeks later, and they still look pretty good. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you subscribe, comment below. Let me know any other tips and tricks you guys might have, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.